every emerging economy, every prospering country needs good rule of law, and with the good rule of law come the lawyers. So representing the legal profession, George Salem, Strategic Advisor to DLA Piper. George.
Thank you, David. Well, when David Hammond called and asked that I represent the legal profession in paying tribute to Ambassador al-Otaiba, I immediately accepted the honor, not only because of my great respect and fondness for Yusuf, but also because of my high regard for David Hammond and the impressive work of the National U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce. Many of the lawyers in this room, including my colleagues at DLA Piper, have the privilege of representing the Embassy of the UAE, which has been so ably led by the ambassador for this last year and a half. However, as an Arab-American lawyer, I have a unique appreciation for the contribution that Yusuf makes to the Arab diplomatic corps, as well as to the promotion of better relations between the United States and the UAE and the Arab world generally. I moved to Washington in 1980 with President Reagan and was elected, when President Reagan was elected as President of the United States. During the course of the past 30 years, I've had occasion to work with virtually every Arab ambassador to the United States. And we've all been united in the joint pursuit of common objectives, ranging from combating discrimination against Arabs and Muslims, or negative stereotypes of Arabs or our community, to advancing Arab Americans in the political process, to promoting positive economic, trade, and diplomatic relations between the United States and the Arab world, to the all-consuming issue of the Palestinian question and promoting justice for the Palestinians and the peaceful resolution of the Palestinian-Israeli issue. The articulation of the mutuality of the interests of the United States and the Arab world, and explaining how working closely with our Arab allies advances the interests of the United States is a passion which Arab diplomats and leaders of the Arab American community share. No Arab diplomat fulfills this mission better than our honoree today. Usually our Arab diplomats are educated outside the United States, and their attitudes and outlook are somewhat unidimensional, approaching issues as an Arab diplomat advancing his, or more recently, her country's interests. When I first met Yusuf, I saw in him a multidimensional approach to addressing the issues his country faces. He has the unique ability to understand both the Arab and the American dimensions of an issue, and he brings understanding and insight to tackling an issue that are exceptional and unique. His perspective is indeed both American and Arab. He approaches his issues in a uniquely American way by assembling a team of diverse and talented professionals, as he has with his embassy staff, which is terrific, and his group of advisors. His focus on a team approach for dealing with issues is a hallmark of his tenure. Yusuf brings a youthful energy to his position, as well as a keen intellect and a unique perspective that only one who has straddled both the Arab and the American cultures can assimilate. He represents the brightest and the best of his great nation, and also the great hope of being the role model for future diplomats, not just from the United Arab Emirates, but from the Arab world generally. So today, as a lawyer, as a professional, and as an Arab American, I humbly congratulate not only the ambassador for this great honor and for all he has accomplished during his tenure, but the Chamber for having the vision and the wisdom to select as their honoree someone so wonderfully representative of the future of the Arab world. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Greatly appreciated. Real estate development is also a sector that's been very prominently on display in the UAE, particularly in Dubai and increasingly so in Abu Dhabi. And so representing real estate development as well as local activity here in the Washington, D.C. area, Joe Robert, Chair and CEO of the J.E. Robert Companies. Joe?
when David asked me to come up this afternoon, as I walked to the table, he said, "Do you have your notes prepared?" I said, "Huh? Notes for what?" He said, "For your remarks this afternoon." I said, "What remarks?" Anyway, so they're not prepared. But Yusuf, number one, congratulations for this. I knew you were going to be a rock star when you got here, but I didn't imagine you were going to be the rock star among diplomats. I actually met Yusuf a number of years ago, not in connection with real estate, but in connection with national security as part of BENS, which I'm chairman of, which is Business Executives for National Security. And he was his boss, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed's assistant. And when the Dubai ports world case came up, and I said to Sheikh Mohammed, I said, you need a new ambassador in Washington. He said, "What do you have in mind?" I said, "Yusuf." And he said, "Well, he's a little young, don't you think?" And I said, "Yeah, but if you send him to Washington, we'll make sure he's a rock star. And he'll be the youngest guy there. He'll be on the map. He'll be different. He'll be unique. And he will be rapidly accepted." Yusuf, you have succeeded in accomplishing all those things beyond mine or anyone else's expectations. When Sheikh Mohammed's son was graduating from Georgetown, he asked me to come down and sit with him, which I did. We went out to the parking lot and took a walk. He said, "I'm going to take your suggestion and make Yusuf the ambassador." And I said, "Great." I said, "How did he react to that?" He said, "Well, I haven't told him yet." So Yusuf, congratulations. You've done a spectacular job here. Congratulations to the Chamber on selecting him for the great work that he's done as an ambassador. And keep on doing it.
Thank you, Joe. And Joe is far too modest, but let me say he played an instrumental role working with His Excellency the Ambassador in that very generous gift to which we alluded earlier today to Children's National Medical Center. So Joe and Yusuf, thank you both. That's an extraordinary gift. Before we move to our last introducer, let me just mention that there are a number of former ambassadors of the United States to the Arab world in the room. I would be remiss in my responsibilities if I didn't invite them to please stand up and say hello. Ambassadors, don't be shy.